All right, we're going to build an app that visualizes how various things occur, how much things are used, and show them accumulating over time in a growing pile. For example, I've always thought it was interesting to see like how many bananas are eaten in a given year, or how many diapers are used, or how often a car accident happens, how many per minute. So thought we'd build an app to kind of show this. So for example, let's have a list of at least 100 different commonly used items, commonly eaten foods, commonly performed activities, and fetch available statistics from the internet on how many of these occur in a given time period, such as a year. Convert that number into a universal time period, such as a year, so that all the values are in the same time unit, year. That's to get all the data consistent. Then the app should display those in how many per second and show a visualization on screen so the user can see how many of that event or item is being used, eaten, or performed per second. The usage should be represented by the items dropping from the top of the screen at the rate per second and collecting in a pile at the bottom of the screen. Let's add some light physics to the pile so that as items keep dropping into the pile naturally grows, shifts, and moves fluidly to adjust to the growing weight and volume, like a real pile of objects would. Show a pile at the bottom of the screen representing the collection of items or events that has occurred in the time that has passed. Give the user a time slider control so they can choose to adjust the slider backwards up to 10 years or forwards up to 10 years. Default time range should be the date and time the user began the simulation, with the end of the range being the current time. Make the events or items represented by little shapes such as small blocks, balls, triangles, or other colored shapes that collect in the pile at the bottom of the screen. Give the user some controls to adjust various settings, and be sure to display the main metric in bigger, bolder font near the top of the screen, such as diapers per second, or car accidents per second, or births, or US debt. While building the app, fetch all of the statistical data for at least 100 various items or activities so that we don't have to fetch that data in real time each time the app loads. I forgot to mention, include the unit of measure in the display so the user can see what's being calculated. For example, pounds of bananas eaten per second. And allow the user to choose a geographic location defaulting to the US, but also having other countries as choices if the data is available. Make this app very visual, interactive, and add some interesting animations, effects, and colors where appropriate to create a tasteful, educational, and fun experience. So we'll go ahead and build that. And we'll see what Gemini comes up with. All right, so here's the result. This is a pretty cool live simulation of Coca-Cola cans being consumed at a rate of 12,500 per second. As you can see, it's got some physics going on. So the Coca-Cola cans are represented by little red blocks, and as they hit the pile is kind of compressing and moving around. We've got a timeline that we can adjust down here if we want to see into the future how many Coca-Cola cans would be used in up to 10 years. Would be 3.9 trillion. We've got a reset button to clear the deck. And then over here, we can choose from a variety of foods and drinks, apples, avocados, bananas, etc. Technology, Bitcoin transactions, cyber attacks, emails. That's interesting. Let's see how many emails. 3.1 billion per second. That is crazy. And Google searches and a number of other things. Biology, ants, cells replaced, dreams, eye blinks, hair growth. Environment, aluminum cans, CO2 emissions, crude oil, lightning strikes. Economy, GDP, shares traded, national debt, Visa transactions. Retail, Amazon packages, 158 a second. Diapers used, 5,700 a second. Transportation, bicycles, car accidents, commercial flights, gasoline. 4,280 gallons of gasoline burned per second. So this is pretty entertaining, pretty interesting. I mean, I find it useful. There's a lot of amazing statistics here, and it helps you get a little bit of a scope on what's going on. Ballpoint pens, 158 per second. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'll share the link. I'll make this a shared app and put the link in the description so you can use it for free. And you could even make your own version if you'd like. So hope this helps show you how you can make entertaining educational apps really quick. I think this only took less than 10 minutes. And this is all in Google AI Studio. Now, in some of my other videos, it wouldn't be appropriate for this video because this is more just entertainment, but some of my other apps are things that you'd want to store data for, and you'd want to have user credentials, logins, multi-platform, cross-platform syncing, cloud storage. And I can show you how to do all that in some of my other videos. And if you have any questions about this app or want me to add more features, go ahead and put that in the comments below, or ideas for other videos. I'd be happy to make more videos on specific topics like how to do cloud sync, how to set up a Firestore database. And next up, what I'm planning on publishing soon is a video on how to do Stripe payments so that you can monetize apps that you build. I'm not quite ready to do that yet because I want to make sure I have it down to a science. I don't want to give anybody bad information when it comes to credit card payments. But that's what I'm working on my own. I have a couple of apps I'm trying to monetize, and so I'm working on how to set up Stripe payments to where people can get promo codes, you know, a month free, sign up for a subscription, things like that. So if this was interesting and valuable to you, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of these. And until next time, take care.